Hey, my name is Sean Smith. I'm an evangelist. I travel and preach. Written some books, and we love to reach out to university students, millennials. We're going after the harvest and believing for a revival. I was a student back at University of Pacific when Donnie Moore was the Calvary campus pastor, and I first met him as I would meet him in the middle of the student union, and he would witness to me about Christ before I gave my life to Christ, as well as another student that was a part of the ministry. And so I cried out one night, probably because of the witnessing and seeds that Donnie and others from the ministry had sown into me, and I had a visitation of God, an encounter with God. I immediately went out and went to Donnie Moore's campus college meeting. He preached, I went for it, gave my life to Christ, and after I did, he just began to pour inside of me. He began to mentor me. He demonstrated to me the importance of being in the Word, of being bold, of being a witness. And I remember one thing particularly he told me. He said, one time we were walking, he said, Sean, you're going to be one of the best communicators this movement has ever seen, in our Calvary campus movement. And I did not believe that of myself, but here was a guy that I knew and respected. For him to say that, that really helped turn the corner for me to believe that, hey, maybe one day I could preach. So that's huge. You know, I remember this time, I mentioned how I walked forward at a Calvary campus meeting, which was a campus ministry Donnie was a part of, gave my life to Christ. That first time I went, he preached the message, God's commitment to you. And he preached that neither death nor life, angels nor demons, nothing in creation, nothing, previous or current or to come could separate you from the love of God. And it just amazed me that the Lord would love me based on all the stuff I had done. So when he said that, he said, right now, any of you want to give your life to Christ, lift your hand up. And I remember thinking, I'm sitting in the back of the room and I'm saying, Sean, play it cool, dude. Do not lift your hand, man. Just get out of here and do something, on your own. Just affirm and confirm. And I was just so moved in the moment, man. My hand went up, and I just lifted my hand up. And then I said, okay, he's probably gonna ask people to come forward. I think I seen this thing on Billy Graham. Whatever you do, Sean, don't walk forward. And all of a sudden, I'm not exaggerating, it was like I was on my feet walking forward. So we got down front, and he led us in the sinner's prayer. But when he began to lead us, I so felt the love of God, I couldn't complete the prayer. So I thought, it's kind of like buying a car. I didn't sign my entire name on the dotted line, so I don't own the car yet. So I came back next week thinking, okay, I'm gonna get saved. So he preached, lifted my hand, stood up, walked down, started to pray a prayer. I began to cry again, didn't get through the prayer. I did that 4 straight weeks. And then finally on the 4th time, Donnie stopped me and he said, hey brother, you don't have to lift your hand anymore, you're saved. And so I walked up to him afterwards and I said, hey man, if I was saved, why'd you keep allowing me to lift my hand? And he said to me, because I could always count on you to start the altar call. He says, I see that hand, I see that hand, I see that hand. So we just laughed that, hey, I was an evangelist before I even knew how to share the gospel. Hey, Donald Ray Moore, I want to congratulate you on 30 plus years of ministry. That is an amazing accomplishment. If someone has 30 years of marriage, 30 years in any profession, 30 years in the industry, that is a great accomplishment. And I think it's great because of the fact that anyone that sticks with something that long, they have tenacity and they have resiliency. You need tenacity to fight through the sticking points and barriers. You need resilience because sometimes you hit a barrier and a barrier hits back. And resiliency, you're able to bounce back. No one stays in anything 30 years without tenacity and without resiliency. And Donnie, you have that, and I've seen that. There's this instance in Acts chapter 28 where Apostle Paul was shipwrecked after 2 weeks of being in a type 5 level typhoon. He hadn't eaten. The Roman guards are talking about killing him. He finally makes it on a beach. He sees that the people of this island had built a fire to help keep them warm. But Apostle Paul wasn't okay with someone else stoking the fire for him. He went and collected sticks and he stoked the fire. And I recognize something in life. No one in terms of ministry or walking with God is worth their weight that hasn't gotten their own sticks and stoked their own fire. Because Apostle Paul understood something, that a fire that's not fed is a fire that will go out. And so I commend you, Donnie, because you have fed the fire. You've kept gathering sticks. You didn't sizzle out. You didn't fizzle out. Many people that began in their 20s in ministries like you did, they're not in ministry for whatever reasons, but they're not in ministry with years of seniority and doing it the way you did. So thanks for sticking with it. Thanks for the tenacity, the resiliency, and many, many, many people along the way have been impacted, myself included. So, hey man, happy 30 plus years to Donnie. Sure appreciate you, and Cindy as well.